Good evening, everybody. In today's video, let us learn about the aims and objectives of teaching biological science. What are aims? Aims are nothing but broad and a comprehensive and a long-term goals which are to be achieved by an individual. For example, to become an effective teacher, you have to learn certain teaching skills, isn't it? So, they are nothing but the objectives. So, the objectives are brief, they are short term, and they are achievable goals. So, in order to achieve your aims, you are moving in the path of the objectives. Then, what does the word domain means? Domains are nothing but the areas of learning. So, when you learn biology, you learn different types of content, is it not? So, when you learn the content, take for example, if you are going to learn about cell biology, you will be learning what is the definition of cell, what are the different types of cell, the cell structure, the organization, everything, is it not? So that is a major area, is it not? That area of learning is called as a domain. And we can say that it's nothing but the content which are grouped under a similar heading or a topic like that. So we have understood what are aims, objectives and domains. Let us see what are the different types of objectives we have and how to learn them. You know, Benjamin Bloom, an American, and he has classified, he is a psychologist, he has given very important classification about the objectives. He has defined the objectives under three main domains, namely psychomotor domain, affective domain and cognitive domain. And he has also given the theory of mastery learning. So Bloom has given the classification of the educational objectives and the theory of mastery of learning. So what is the word taxonomy? It comes from the two Greek words. Taxis means arrangement and nomos means a signs of arrangement. It is nothing but a set of classification of the principles or the structure, and it simply denotes the categories which are available. So normally the objectives are of three different categories. So that is what given by Benjamin Bloom, and we follow this classification when we write our lesson plans. It is useful for a teacher to plan his objectives in teaching a subject in a very better way. So she can plan out in the form of cognitive, affective and psychomotor domains. Now let us see what is the definition which is given for Bloom's taxonomy. So Bloom's taxonomy, it is a classification and it distinguishes the human ability, understanding, thinking process, everything under three different categories. So what is the purpose of doing this? It is to classify, it is to find out how to test the students of whether the students have understood the concept, and is there any changes to be made in the curriculum, and what type of instructional method should be used by a teacher to achieve his objectives. Then there is an interrelationship between the three domains, namely the cognitive, affective and the psychomotor. Everything is overlapped with one another. We can't distinguish the domains from one another. It is an interlocked pattern. Okay. We can see this classification can be said as, Bloom's taxonomy can be said as the study of three heads. What is the 3H? Head, cognitive domain head, affective domain heart and psychomotor domain hand coordination. So cognitive is related with the head, that is where your knowledge part is related to that. Whereas your affective domain is related to the feelings, thoughts and the emotions that you gain towards learning a particular subject or a content. And your psychomotor domain results in the helping of your development of your skills like your coordination of the hand muscles, everything in drawing. How do you dissect a frog or a flower or something like that? So it is related with the psychomotor domain, that is your hand coordination. So this classification is otherwise called as a 3H classification. Cognitive domain, head, affective heart, and psychomotor hand. That is why it is called as 3H classification. You can see here the flow chart which shows the taxonomy of the educational objectives under three main heading. Cognitive. Under the cognitive we have 6 sub-levels, namely knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Under affective domain we have receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Under the psychomotor domain, there are 6 levels: perception, imitation, manipulation, precision, articulation, and naturalization. Let us see them in detail in the next. So, the Bloom's taxonomy, it was originally given in the year 1956 and later it was modified, and the revised form was given by Anderson. Okay, he was a former student of Bloom, and this cognitive domain mainly relates with your mental skills, that is your knowledge part of it, and the affective with your feelings, your emotional areas like attitudes, and the psychomotor deals with your manual or the physical skills which are involved. So this taxonomy helps the instructional designers, namely the curriculum framework people, the teachers and educators, to find and utilize all these things in the teaching learning process and motivate the children better in understanding the concepts. Let us now see what are the areas which are present. Already we have seen the cognitive domain has 6 levels, namely it proceeds from the lower order. The lower order is knowledge. First, if you take for example, if you study about any cells, first definition of cell, you will understand what is cell. Then you will try to comprehend yourself. You will try to redefine the cell in your own words. Then you apply your knowledge of getting what is the definition of cell, and you try to find out there are 2 different types of cells, plant cell and animal cell. Then you will start analyzing what is the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell. Then you start synthesizing your points about what are the structures which are present in a cell. If it is a cell, how to evaluate it, like that. So it proceeds from the lower level, namely knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So knowledge is mainly referred. When you write knowledge, the action verbs, the verbs which are used to indicate the knowledge level, will be listed like write, list, define, recall, etc. Whereas in comprehension, the action verbs will be explain, summarize, describe the cell structure, like that. When you come under application, you will apply the same knowledge to differentiate what is a plant cell and how it is differing from an animal cell, like that. Analysis, when you come to the analysis stage, where you will start asking the questions why it is differing from the other, what not, why it is not like the plant cell, like that. You will start differentiating yourself. So that is the analysis stage. Then the next stage is synthesis, where you try to combine all your knowledge, putting together all that you know there, and you start making an invention or a combination of that. So here the words like you can see create, design, develop, like that will be used as an action verb at this stage. Then at the evaluation stage, the student is able to make judgment about the particular cell, whether it is a plant cell or animal cell, based upon what are the evidences they are provided, and they can judge, recommend, and justify their reason why they are telling that it's only a plant cell, why not an animal cell, like that. So certain reasons are there for them to evaluate their performance. So at this stage, so this is regarded as the final stage of the cognitive domain. Then the second level is the affective domain. So it refers to your emotional things, and it refers to the attitude of the child in learning the concepts. So it has the 5 levels, namely receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Then receiving is the lowest level where the child will get the initial knowledge about. So take for example, when you receive the things, majority of people are very keen to receive the material from the others. So they have to receive what you tell them, and then they will start responding to you. They will answer your questions, and they will find whether their answers is right or not. They start valuing, am I right or not? Is my answer partial right or fully right? Like that, they start thinking about their values. And then the next stage is that where you can see they start organizing the contents which they have in their mind. Namely, uh, they will be thinking how to organize the content. They will start thinking that if it is a plant cell, it will have a definite cell wall. It will not be present there in the animal cell. They will organize the content in an orderly manner, and they try to characterize what is the characters of a plant cell and an animal cell in a very clear way, and it will be related to their emotions and their feelings. They will be very confident. So since if it is a cell wall is present, then it is automatically a plant cell, not an animal cell. Like that, they will be able to find out the things. Okay. The next is that the psychomotor domain, where you can see the child first initiates. It is the stage where it imitates the behavior of the individual who teaches them. So he or she will be able to follow the teacher, and they will start doing the same thing. Take for example, if you are dissecting a plant cell, an onion, peeling and keeping it under microscope and making the child to understand, it will start imitating the thing. And the next stage is manipulating the thing. It will try to reproduce the same activity by memorizing the concepts which are related to that. And then the next level is the precision. They will be able to execute how to bring out the peeling, how to take it in using a, and how to place it on a glass slide and observe it under a microscope. And they will start articulating. They will be able to learn expertise over the objective. And finally, the learner will be able to learn the skills unconscious of their mastery. Take for example, if you teach them the diagram of plant cell, they will be able to draw it in a very easy and a simple way, so that others they are able to start. They know where to start the diagram. For any diagram, you have to there is a starting point. It will be easy for you to complete the diagram, but how to maintain the shape of the cell, and how we whether we should use any scale or pencil in drawing the cells, like that, so many skills. So finally the child learns what are the things they have to do when they learn about cell. So here you can see here the list of action verbs which are given for the particular level has been given very clearly for you. When you, it will be useful when you write your lesson plans about like knowledge, define, describe, state, list, name, recall, recognize. And when you come under the comprehension, it will be identify, justify, select, indicate, illustrate. Application level, select, assess, explain, choose, compute, like that. And then when you come under the analysis level, analyze, identify, conclude, differentiate, compare, contrast, criticize. And another synthesis level, combine, summarize, precise, argue, discuss. And for evaluation level, judge, evaluate, determine, recognize, and defend. Okay. So these are the action verbs which are used when we write the lesson plan using Bloom's taxonomy. You can see an example has been given for you to understand about how the levels of action verbs will be used here. We can see here a common example of using a mobile phones has been listed to here. So first you will be listening to what are the uses of our mobile phones. Then you will be able to comprehend, discuss the common uses of mobile phone. Then you will compare the uses of mobile phones with the any other article way you have read, and finally you will evaluate its performance. So all these comes under the objectives of learning. And here there are some science biology examples has been given, namely recall the information about reading about cells, develop a basic knowledge of cells, record the observations about plant cell structure, record and compare the facts about plant cell and animal cell, collect, organize and display and interpret the data about cell organelles, demonstrate about the functions of a cell organelle. Like that you can start writing the action plans, and this will be useful for you when you write the lesson plan. I hope you are clear with what are the action verbs and Bloom's taxonomy to a greater extent. Okay, hope you have a clear idea with this video. Thank you.